Today, I want to talk a little bit about creativity. And I think this is a little bit of a touchy subject when it comes to Christianity, because sometimes I think Christians look at creativity as something bad. Like, if you're too creative, then you are not following the word or you're doing something bad. And so I want to address that. Now, first, the Bible says that there's nobody like you, there's nobody like me, there never has been, and there never will be. And where we get that is from 1 Kings 3:12. Behold, I give you a wise and discerning mind, so that none like you has been before you, and none like you will arise after you. So he gives us wisdom and discernment, and we tend to not use that, and we tend to not address or accept the fact that no one is like you and never has been and never will be. We have a mentality of conformity, that if we all act the same, if we all like the same music, if we all watch the same movies, then we are Christians somehow. So this is saying there's nobody like you, there never has been, and there never will be. It's referring to uniqueness. We are to be unique. And also, we are created in the image of God, as everybody knows. And what is more creative than creation? God created everything. He is the ultimate in creativity, the ultimate. And so for us to be reflections of his image, we also should be beyond creative. And so what I see here, for example, in Christian music, Christian movies, is I see, instead of musicians or artists making art in music or in movie, we see pastors putting a message forth in music and in movies. And there's nothing wrong, because we're supposed to proclaim God. We're supposed to be giving the message forth. But there's a difference between a pastor preaching a message and an artist creating an art form. And it's when we mix these up that we get these dry, uncreative forms of art. For example, you say Christian music, and there seems to be like keywords, that if these 5 keywords are not in the music, are not part of the lyrics, how can this be Christian music? An example. Many years ago, I started following the artist Phil Keaggy, and about 60% of his music is just that, music, no lyrics. He is a Christian. He travels the country. He travels the world, proclaiming his Christian faith. His songs that do have lyrics are very Christian lyrics. But these songs that have no lyrics, for some reason, it's like, oh, how can we know if this is Christian music or not? And I think that's just absurd. That's ridiculous to say just because it doesn't have lyrics. Like music itself can't move people, can't touch people. Like as if God can't speak through music without words. Just the music. God can speak through the music. So when I first started experiencing that, that's when I started really questioning things, really wanting to understand better what was happening here. And that's what I've come to understand, is that we as Christians are trying to use music or movies to promote a message instead of using music and movies as an art form of creativity that will then inspire and touch and move other people. And so we focus too much on the obvious, on words. If it doesn't have these words, then how can it be Christian? If it doesn't say this word this many times, how can it be Christian? And that's something that's also always irritated me with worship music. As you listen to this worship music, and they say the same thing over and over and over. It's like worship music is totally devoid of any creativity. And so we have this repetitive thing. And, in the Bible, over and over and over again, it says sing a new song. In the Old and in the New Testament, it says sing to the Lord a new song. New song. Okay? Well, why? Question that. Why? What's the big deal? What does it matter if it's new or if it's old? Well, if you hear something over and over again for 500 years or 200 years, do you think it's going to get boring to you? You think it's not going to mean that much to you? We're singing to God. We're not singing for our own self, for our emotions, to somehow make me feel good emotionally. And that's what we sometimes do. We sing, and we're singing because it makes us feel good. But this is to God. So I think he says sing a new song over and over and over again to make the point that he doesn't want to hear the same thing over and over for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, like some of these old hymns are. No matter what you like, no matter what you think, that's what he said. So if that's the reason, and I'm just making a guess, an assumption, if the reason that he wants us to sing a new song is that he doesn't want to hear the same thing repeated incessantly, then doesn't it stand to reason that he wouldn't want to hear the same lyrics repeated over and over again in one song? You can listen to a modern worship song and hear the same phrase like 50 or 60 times. And so how is that not boring to him? And again, it's about him. It's not about us. So that's something to think about, that we need to be creative because we are a reflection of him. We are created in his image and we're born again, born of the Spirit. And our lack of creativity does nothing but damage our ability to proclaim the good news. Who wants to give up great music? Who wants to give up great filmmaking, great music, to listen to the stuff from the Christian world? Who wants to do that? Our music, our movies should be better, should be more creative, more ingenious, because we are the reflection of God on earth. So people shouldn't be taking a step down to become a believer, to listen to the correct music, to watch the correct movies. They shouldn't be taking a step down. That should be like 10 steps up, because we should be the most creative people on the earth as believers in Christ. So that's what I wanted to address. Being creative in the arts is not directly proclaiming a message, but at least people who are not Christians, who might be on the fence, if they hear amazing music, if they see amazing film, they at least they won't feel like, if I take that step, I'm going to be giving up a lot in regards to art, in regards to the beautiful, magnificent things that come from art. Because now that's how it is. I mean, if you're on the fence and you're thinking, okay, I can either start to believe, and I want to start to believe, but if I go down that road, I'm leaving the world of, magnificent art behind me, because all they see, all they hear is this canned music, this meaningless, shallow music and film. It has nothing to do with funds, with money, as if, oh, if we had money, then we could make a good movie, or if we had enough money, we could make good music. You can make good music on your computer without going into a studio. You can make film on your computer, movies that is meaningful and creative. So, yeah, I think we need to get back to just creativity on a massive scale, and put all this, canned Christian music behind us, because it's not doing anybody any good. I don't get anything from it as a Christian, and I know non-believers don't get anything from it because they don't like it, they don't want it. So, yeah, I think we need to get back to creativity.